Hey everybody, it's Faze Ali for all things mobile, and today I've got a quick preview of BlackBerry Tablet OS 2.0. Basically, this is the new operating system for the BlackBerry PlayBook, and I'm just going to be doing a brief rundown, so I'm not going to go into every single little thing. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do more in-depth videos of all the extras. For example, I'll do a video dedicated to how the mail client works and how you set that up and so forth. So don't worry if you don't get to see everything in OS 2.0 today. It'll be coming in future videos. So let's just get started with some of the basics and the overviews. So I just swipe from bezel to bezel, that's nothing new. And we are greeted with the new home screen. Now, this home screen looks pretty similar. The clock is in the same position, the notifications and whatnot. Although at the bottom here you get a different dock. This is actually a fixed dock. There's no more sliding like OS 6 had on, like, for example, on the OS 6 ones where you had the sliding, and on the PlayBook where you had all favorites, games, etc. There's none of that anymore. It's just one dock. And you can have up to 6 icons. You can also have folders up in the dock, and that's a folder there. So to open the dock, you just swipe up from the bezel, or as well as now you could swipe from the dock itself, from the dock to pull that up. So that's also nice. And when you've pulled that up, you could scroll up and down just like usual, like before, and you could also scroll from left to right. Now, left to right gives you just multiple pages, and up here you see these white boxes. It just indicates what page you're on. So it's kind of like iOS, how they have designed their home screen user interface, so quite similar to that. It's really responsive, really easy just to pull up, pull down. So in terms of that, I definitely like this better, because before I had the sections laid out here, so the all favorites and so forth, and I couldn't really customize that, couldn't rename it or anything. So I'd say this is definitely a plus for most likely many people will see this as a plus. And another thing is the folders. You'll already notice a couple folders. If you've got a BlackBerry, you've got the BlackBerry Bridge folder, and for me, I just made a games folder just to keep all the games in there. It's more organized to do that. You can make folders quite easily, so I'm going to demonstrate that now. What we'll do is we're going to take this settings, wait for it to jiggle around, and then we're going to just place it over top another icon, and then we get to rename the folder. Let's just name it test, TES, T, create, swipe up, and done. You've created the folder. You can open up the folder, you see the contents. You can also rename the folder if you don't like the name after. You could just open up the folder, hold any icon, and you'll notice there's a box around the folder name. Tap that, and you could change the name to whatever we want. So let's just change it to 416, for example. Rename, you could rename it. I will name it back to folder, or just test. Rename, and done. So that's just folders. It's simple, it's intuitive, and this is actually also how you delete apps. So press and hold, you'll see the trash can icon. That's how you delete applications. So that's that. It's kind of nice, but it's not like a huge change. It's something you'll notice, and I think it's a definite appreciation factor there, because it's great just to have something more intuitive, because before on previous OSs it wasn't so intuitive. So that's that. Nothing really changes in the settings. You do get a revamped app world, so app world does change a little bit. You get a better UI actually. It's more Android like, so as you guys can see, this looks quite quite similar to app world. You could go up here, tap on games, yes, and then you could go through the games, And if you find one that you want to read more about, like Plants vs. Zombies, for example, tap that. And on the left hand side, or rather on the right hand side, you get the information and some latest reviews. You could press more reviews to get more reviews. You could also hide the reviews, and here on the left hand side you get the screenshots, and then you've got the option to purchase the app. And also another thing that RIM has been doing with their BlackBerry products, both smartphone and tablet, is adding a rating system. So if we go back, we can see there's a T. If we tap that T, we can see that this game is meant for T for teen, 13 plus, and it just gives you why it's rated the way it is, right? And you could go into content settings, turn them on, and restrict content. So parental restrictions, they're there. So Apple has changed slightly. That's that. You'll also notice the browser has changed a bit. It renders things quite a bit quicker now, but that's not a huge change. For example, we could load up all things mobile. We're doing this over the Wi-Fi network, so it's going to be fairly quick anyways. As you guys can see, they really did they really did fix the scrolling. Now you could scroll really easily. Pinch to zoom. They did quite a bit of work on the browser, just from the under the hood. There's also, if you go into an article such as the iPhone 4S review, for example, and you guys can see that this is a article, and it's got a flash video. Nothing new, it played flash before, and we could just press this little book button, and that is reading mode. So we could do that, and it brings out the article in a easy to read format. So that's nice if you're browsing web pages that have, such as forums that have a lot of text, and it's wide text. This just consolidates that, makes it easier to read. So it's definitely a welcome feature. Close out of that. In terms of the browser side, there's nothing else really. Everything's the same. You could open up multiple tabs like usual. Not too many changes there. And actually, one change you guys will notice off the bat is if I am multitasking, you'll notice that now these separate tabs are larger. So whoops, waited too long there. So yeah, they're larger, meaning more information is conveyed, but less of them can be shown on screen at the same time. Although I like this better because you could click the X easier if you just like to quickly close out of apps. But of course, you could also close out of apps fairly quickly just by swiping up. So that's that. The video chat application has also changed quite a bit. You can now see which contacts are online. Really nifty actually. So you don't have to call a person and figure out are they online or are they not. It immediately just shows you with a green little video icon right beside their name if they're online or not. So that's nice. It also consolidates all your video contacts. For example, if you've got a friend who's on Facebook and the email they used for Facebook is also their BlackBerry ID, the BlackBerry PlayBook will recognize that and automatically add them as a video contact. So I found that pretty cool. You don't have to go hunt and peck to figure out which one of your contacts is the PlayBook and manually add them. So that's definitely a welcome addition. The music store hasn't changed actually. In the US, they do have a video store that's powered by Roxo or something along those lines, but it's not available where I am, which is Canada, so we don't have that yet, but that is coming soon. Some changes to YouTube actually. Now when you open up the application, you get the same view as before. It's a little different now. You get the option to upload, but the main option is slide down, you could sign and then upload videos. Although unfortunately you cannot, and this is finicky because in a lot of applications you swipe down to swipe back up, but this one's a little tricky because it's the only application that you have to swipe up as so, right? You don't whoops, you have to actually swipe up, not swipe back down as you're used to. So that's something that you're gonna have to keep in mind. Not a deal breaker really, but I wish you could sign in and view your subscriptions. Right now you could just sign in and upload videos. That's about it. So it's a pretty basic YouTube application, but it does play them in HD, which is pretty nice. Print to Go is a new application. Essentially what this lets you do is you can go on your desktop computer, you just install a Print to Go application from BlackBerry's website, and then you could basically, what happens is when you print a document, you could select Print to Go, which is going to be on the drop down list of printers, and you input your BlackBerry ID. You only have to do this for the first time. Any other subsequent attempts, it'll just automatically go through, and it'll bring up the file that you were printing into a PDF file, and it'll just be displayed here. Now it's really useful for just Word documents you just want to carry on the go, but I don't recommend you do that with Word documents unless you're not going to edit them. If you're going to edit them, use something like Documents to Go or Quick Office, which is a lot easier. This is just kind of for like getting things on the go. Like if you have directions or you have a map for something, you just go print, file, print, select Print to Go as the printer, okay that, it'll get sent to BlackBerry wirelessly. Not a problem, no hitches, it works very well. It has many useful applications, you just got to figure out how it fits in. Documents to Go has gotten a little change. Instead of having multiple icons, now it's just one icon. But it works the same way. You could open up a doc, or well, rather create a new document. In this case, you get rich text formatting, as well as spreadsheets. So you can open up a spreadsheet. Now the one feature that's missing is you cannot open a PowerPoint, although you can actually edit PowerPoints. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And I want to show you guys the keyboard now. So I'll go back into the docs, and the keyboard has improved a lot. So this is actually a Android based keyboard based on SwiftKey. So if I type in you'll see that there's already the auto correction and predictive text. So let's make a mistake on purpose, the space, it'll edit that. Quick, and we see quick, brown, fox, and I'm just using one finger here, so obviously it's going to be a little bit slower, but when you're doing two hands it's going to be a lot faster. So quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Again, also you've still got your BlackBerry controls with the smartphone, so double tapping space would allow you for dog, a period. As you guys can see there, when you make a mistake, it's underlined. You just tap it. Oops, you just tap it. Oh, because I re-edited it. So when you make a mistake, it'll usually just auto-correct like that. So, and if not, it'll ask you if you want to add it to the dictionary or not. So kind of nifty. Also, the copy paste works in the exact same way. You just select it to, let's just do brown. Let's select brown. So select text, brown, done, copy. Let's paste it there. Select, paste, done. Let's close out of that discard changes. So the keyboard works better now because there's autocorrect, there's predictive text, so works a lot better. File manager, now you get a file manager. It's kind of like the old one, except it's gotten some like UI enhancements, but that's really it. There's nothing much actually. So that's that. And the next app I want to show you guys is actually Android apps. So not these are just the same applications up here, except they've just got some icon change. Like setup is the exact same setup you guys were used to in OS 1. So yeah, exact same setup. So they're just icon changes, nothing much. But I want to show you guys the Android app player, which is something new. So these apps, starting from Holy Quran all the way to Splashtop here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 apps here are actually Android apps, with the exception of QFolder, that's a native PlayBook app. So 8 apps. And you guys would know that because if I launch something like Twitter, it'll just go right into Twitter. And you won't even know it's a, should it go right into Twitter? Yeah, it'll go right into Twitter. And it runs like smoothly. What's it doing? Oh, it's refreshing tweets. Just wait for that. Yeah, so it's working well. You could see your inbox, you could see your, I think, mentions, and these are just tweets. The only way you'll notice is actually if you drag from the bezel, so then you'll see the the Android controls. But other than that, I mean, it's really quite easy. And doing this action, so this motion from the left corner, brings you to your recent application. So I can go into WordPress, which is a very beautifully done application that works extremely well on the PlayBook. It's an Android app, but the Android apps don't look like they're Android apps. You could even multitask with them. So WordPress, let's open up WordPress. Let's open up, I don't know, let's open up Quick Office. That's a nice application. So it also goes into this. You can actually multitask with them by, by going to the recent applications. So I mean, it works pretty well. These are the Android applications I've tested so far. Even a remote desktop client, Splashtop HD, works quite well. And that's just a test folder we made. And that basically just about sums up what are the new changes in BlackBerry Tablet OS 2. And one other change actually is with BlackBerry Bridge. You can now actually use your BlackBerry smartphone to control what's going on. So I'm going to actually do that really quick. Show you guys, turn on Bluetooth. Got my BlackBerry smartphone. I'm going to go into Bridge. So this is the new Bridge application. Let's turn Bridge on. Let's turn Bluetooth on, and you'll notice that there's some new information. So we've got remote control, so it looks a little bit different now. So BlackBerry PlayBook, we're just going to wait for this to connect. And it should be connecting fairly soon. And ideally what the remote control option lets you do is just kind of control your PlayBook via the trackpad or touchscreen on your BlackBerry smartphone, which is kind of neat actually. And it also gives you some presentation controls. So we're connected. You guys can see Bridge BBM came up there, and it shows we're connected. So we're gonna use this option here, use remote control. So we're gonna press that, and we get some directions. So you can see it's connected. I just use the trackpad. A cursor comes up, and I can launch applications. I can launch a browser, for example, and even bezel gestures work. So I could even be doing the bezel gestures. Up. Let's add a new tab. Let's back out of that. Did new tab go through? Yes, so we're 2 tabs. Let's go to Amazon.ca. Click, and as well as your keyboard functions as a Bluetooth keyboard. And what's really neat about this application is it's not just for the PlayBook. This is using the Bluetooth HID profile, so any other devices such as PS3s would also use this profile. You can also use that to connect with this. So scrolling works. but obviously much smoother on the PlayBook itself rather than the bridge remote control. Bezel gestures work, as well as multitasking, so I could open up App World, and even the left right bezel gestures work, so I could do that, go back. It's pretty cool. It's great for when you've got your BlackBerry PlayBook connected via HDMI cable to your television and you're giving a presentation. You could turn on what's called presenter mode. If you go down here, presenter mode, and this basically just turns your device into a clicker. This works on PowerPoint slides, so it's great for that, as well as the volume keys up and down would change slides. So I'll have more of those demos for you on the review of the new bridge, so that'll be coming soon. This is just a brief overview, and I'm going on more than 20 minutes here, so that's about it. I can't really think of anything else that's improved everything I've already mentioned. I will be doing videos in depth about the new PIM app, so the messages, contacts, calendar, covering other applications in greater depth. So because I know I didn't get to go through all of them, right? So I'll be doing that in subsequent videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Faisal Ali for All Things Mobile.